In 1979, I was working in public accounting, and I made the decision to leave public accounting and accept the job as a chief financial officer of a construction company. Once I found myself in this CFO position in industry, I was looking for opportunities to attend educational programs that would be relevant to my new job. And I was having a difficult time finding those programs. So, fast forward a couple of years in my new position there, and I wound up on a committee studying the possibilities of forming an organization to provide those kinds of educational programs for construction financial people. At one point during that year, I contacted the financial editor of Engineering News Record. And Engineering News Record went on to put an article in their magazine, which I have a copy of right here. That article was written in January 7th, 1982. The title was Top Financial Officers Launch New Association. Once that article was issued, we were flooded with inquiries from literally all over the country. We adopted the name CFMA and registered the association, and we solicited and accepted our first 111 membership applications. So over the next year, we started thinking about how we can best serve members in other parts of the country. So that's what gave rise to the chapter concept, and those chapters could run local programs, and the national organization could continue to run. At the end of that year, the second president, a fellow by the name of Bill Miller, took control, became the president, took control of the organization, and it all went from there. I just remember being caught up in this frenzy to grow this thing as quickly as we could. We were just enjoying what we were doing, getting a lot of satisfaction out of watching the thing grow.
I've been a member for about 24 years, so I've gone through all the facets of CFMA, and there have been many. But I think the most helpful thing about CFMA for me was connecting with people in the construction industry and friendships, lots of wonderful friendships and people to call. It's changed in many ways. We've grown a lot, where we used to be the best kept secret, as my friend, past chairman Vicky Spots used to call us. Nobody really knew about us. But as we have grown and become more known throughout the industry, the numbers have increased tremendously. And there's synergy with that, right?
CFMA has grown tremendously over its 40-year lifespan, and you think about all the different players that are in the space, the types of construction, the technology that plays into it, and now you think about the connectivity that all of us have within the association, and we're all trying to work together to do better, to be best in class. And when you do those types of things and you utilize the technology and the connectivity that we all have in the association, it really has allowed CFMA to grow and flourish.
CFMA has done a wonderful job with educational programs and being a resource for its members, not only in terms of the relationships that we provide to each other, but in terms of adapting to changing situations in the industry and changing needs.
When I came on board, part of our strategic plan was to grow membership by 10%. We had nothing to validate that was possible. We had nothing to support that in accomplishing it. And instead, we, the officers and staff, collectively made a decision to focus on value. And the theory was, if we increased membership value, members would come. And I think that's exactly what's happened over the last 10 years.
For several years, I've had the privilege of being CFMA's chief economic advisor. And so from my perspective, what really brings these financial professionals together and therefore has allowed CFMA to expand over time are the economic cycles that we have experienced over the course of time. That constant change in the macroeconomy, that constant change in the environment in which construction firms operate, that's been at the heart of CFMA's success, because people have been looking for an organization that speaks to them. And for construction financial professionals, that is CFMA.
CFMA has personally impacted my professional development since I started as a member in 1997. Every time that I have changed in my job, from the time I started as job cost accountant to now as CFO, CFMA has provided relevant education, and my CFMA friends have helped me. Anytime I had a question, they've been there with answers or ideas. CFMA has given me the opportunity to become a better leader and practice leadership skills, not just learn leadership skills in education courses, but also put them into practice.
If there's one thing I've learned is that we don't need to know everything. We just need to know people that do, right? And CFMA is full of those people. I just pick up the phone and I have people that will help me all over the association.
On one occasion, I was new to the vice president role and had a question that I wanted to ask my bonding underwriter, but I didn't want to look stupid. And so I reached out to a CFMA friend that's in bonding and asked him the question. And he told me his take on it and how he thought that the underwriter would look at it. So I kind of saved a little face there, and that was helpful.
I don't think I would have made it to where I am today without the help of many friends and many dedicated people to making the construction industry the best that it can be.
CFMA has been a place where financial executives get to know each other and form friendships, so lifelong friendships. Actually, it was a CFMA member that introduced me to my wife, which was a pretty important event in my life.
It's just all about relationships, which help from a professional level without a doubt. But then personal level, some of my, best and real lifelong friends are people that I've met through CFMA.
You can look at it from a local standpoint where you're having local meetings with your chapter. You can look at it from a regional and national standpoint where you're always having touch points. Being able to openly share some of the issues and some of the problems that we see has been something that CFMA has been, I think, a huge benefit for myself and for some of the clients that I've served in the past.
Well, CFMA often talks about being a family. And in some respects, it really is. And so my fondest memories are really the people. All of the past chairmen I've worked with have been terrific. The dedication of our chairman has always astounded me. I just was actually able to go to the retirement party for my first chairman when I came on board at CFMA, and that was Mel Burgess. And that was such a pleasure to be there with him and to share that opportunity with current chair, Pam Hepburn. I know Mel really appreciated the fact that we were there. And the reason we were there is because CFMA is all about family.
I think particularly the CFMA annual national conference is a phenomenal event. It's fun, it's informative, it's celebratory.
The events at national conferences and regional conferences have been some of the places that I've found some of my longstanding and deepest relationships within CFMA. And even sometimes, if I'm being honest, the events after have always been a fun way to really get to know people on an individual level.
It is not all about work. There's a lot of fun. Once you've attended 2 conferences, you feel it's like high school. You feel like you know everybody already, right? You walk down the hall and you may not know everybody's names, but you do know people.
From one of my favorite memories, it was actually in Las Vegas. It was this concert forum, right? And so you walk into this place and you got people sitting around, you got people standing on the floor, but there's food over here, drinks over this way. And I remember there being just some awesome live music playing. It's just an amazing memory. I can't ever forget that feeling of hanging out in that evening event with my fellow CFMA members. It was amazing.
It's no surprise to me that CFMA has, just gotten stronger over the years as new challenges are brought to the industry. It just responds with such again, thought leadership is the word that comes to mind when I think of CFMA. It's really about helping the construction industry be better as a whole, not just the finance function or not just the accountants in the industry. It was their openness to thinking outside the box and being open to a topic that maybe didn't fit their normal kind of menu of offerings and things that would be covered, and being open to trying something new and just accepting of the fact that this seems to be something that is important to the people of the industry and can help the industry, has really just led them to be the absolute leader when it comes to suicide prevention. It just really has set CFMA so above and apart from any other industry association.
CFMA is making a difference from a diversity and inclusion perspective. And you think about all the things that have occurred this year and for the last several years, and it's really put a spotlight on being more aware and being more engaged. And I couldn't have been prouder of CFMA.
We recognize where we are on that journey of diversity and inclusion. And really, I have all the confidence in the world as we start this journey. I think we're really starting to make that assessment of where we are and really look at how we're providing, information and knowledge to our membership individuals and companies as they're on their own journey.
One of the things we've talked about is how we help grow the industry and having more diversity and including folks that maybe haven't felt like they were a part of that team is very important. Now I look back and we have a D&I committee that is just going to really help with membership, help with awareness around diversity and inclusion.
The D&I committee is really getting started, and I'm really excited to be a part of it and see where Bruce and the rest of the leadership team take CFMA in the space.
I see the education programs that are out there, the work that the Diversity and Inclusion Committee is doing, the work that suicide prevention. These aren't necessarily things that you'd think a finance organization, a finance association would get involved in, but they're taking steps to be the leaders in all of these things.
The construction finance space would be disjointed. I think you'd have a lot of companies operating in silos, not creating and sharing best practices. I think it would have slowed down, the regrowth from the Great Recession of the industry quite a bit if folks weren't sharing information.
The staff and the members together really make a wonderful team.
I think I'm really looking forward to the next 40 years. I probably won't be here for all of that. In the near future, hopefully, our association will become more diverse and more inclusive than it is.
Construction shows no signs of slowing down, and construction as an industry is working hard to attract, new generations of people joining it. So I think the work that CFMA has done in engaging young professionals is going to go a long ways towards just really preparing the future of construction to be even stronger than it is today.
It's honestly a tremendous honor to be recognized in the inaugural class of 40 under 40 for CFMA. Honestly, the organization has meant so much to me throughout my career, and being able to be a part of this first group of future leaders of the organization is very much an honor, and I'm very happy to be recognized in such a way.
These young professionals, they're changing the world. And if we can only, the older generation, be there to help them do it in any way we can, well, that's what we're going to do. And we're all rooting for them.
So what will happen for CFMA going forward is that you're going to see more chapters open, more professionals join the ranks of CFMA membership. The organization will expand. It has to. It's needed.
CFMA is not what it was 20 years ago. It's getting better and better and better every passing year.
I think CFMA will certainly be there over the next 40 years to help lead us through what's coming. And that disruption and chaos is certainly on the way. I think most of us see it on the horizon with our businesses.
I think CFMA has filled a very important role within the industry, and I think it will continue to do that for the next 40 years as well.